The data set out of remote control. Chapter 7 Creatures of the Deep. The kids landed with a splash. As the girl disappeared, they each wore scuba suits and were surrounded by tropical fish in the ocean. Caesar, what button did you press? Gabe asked. The home button, Caesar said. I thought it might take us back home. Laura gazed at all the controfish. Well, at least this channel seems safe. A low voice echoed around them. The data set swam deeper and deeper. Who said that? Caesar asked. The water turned dark as the data set traveled far beneath the ocean waves. Again, who was that? And how does he know our name? Caesar exclaimed. I think we dove into a show about deep sea diving, Rora said. Yeah, that voice is the narrator from. Gabe paused. Oh, what's the name of the show? I can't remember what it's called. Suddenly, the fish all darted away in a swish of white bubbles. The friends looked around at the dark, empty sea. Where do you think all the fish went? Caesar said with a gulp. Little did the data set know the shark had come to eat, announced the narrator. Did he say sharks? Caesar exclaimed. I know this show, said Gabe. Each week, the host films sharks hunting their prey. It's great. The kids saw two dark shadows swimming toward them quickly. The underwater hunters always catch their prey. Oh no, we're the prey, Gabe cried. He pointed to some rocks. Quickly, we need to hide. The narrator laughed loudly. Sharks know that their prey often hide behind rocks. Okay. Let's try the sea trench, exclaimed Rora. The sharks moved closer and came into sight. Instead of the shark's familiar fin, the data set saw something even scarier. Each beast has fuzzy burrows and a mustache. They also wore goggles and lab coat. They are Bunsen shark, the data set screeched as they swam to the sea trench. A sea trench? Really? Down in the deep, the shark are the masters, the narrator said. How about you tell us where to hide? Caesar yelled. Hurry! Zap to a different channel before we become their dinner, Olive yelled. But each channel is worse than the last, said Caesar Bandit. Caesar. Bandit? Alien? Sharks? What's next? Gabe grabbed the remote and punched in a number. As the girls bubbled around them, the Bunsen sharks were scared away. Where are we going? Asked Olive. Gabe smiled. To the safest channel on TV. Chapter 8 Welcome to Wacky Town. Honk! A cartoon goose blasted the horn in Caesar's ear. Gotcha! Ha ha ha! The goose said as it waddled away. What is this place? Caesar looked at his hands. They were rounder than usual and a different color. Are we cartoons? Welcome to the wild world of Wacky Town, Gabe announced. This has to be the absolutely safest channel in the world. My baby sister watches it all the time, and my parents never let her watch TV. Birds whistled in the dancing trees as forest creatures performed tricks like they were in a circus. Everything around the data set was an illustrated cartoon. Then a dark shadow covered the land. Hello, hello, a fluffy monster squeezed them in a giant bear hug. He had purple fur with orange spots and wore Dr. Bunsen's style. Goggles ready for sharing time? Great, Caesar grumbled. A bunch of toddlers ran from out of nowhere, yelling and whooping. The monster gathered everyone into a circle on the forest floor. Welcome, friends. I'm Bunster, and today's lesson is about sharing. Honk honk. The goose blasted the horn in Caesar's ear again. This may be the safest place, but it's not the quietest, yelled Caesar. Gabe held the remote to check the guide, but Bunster took it. Oh, thank you for sharing your toy. Hey, give me that back right now, cried Gabe. It's not a toy, and it's not for sharing. Those aren't the sharing words, Bunster said. I know, let's practice sharing in the bowl pit of feelings. He tossed the remote into a lake filled with different colored balls. The children all screamed and jumped in after it. No, we have to stop them before they zap to another channel and leaves us here forever, cried Laura. A determined look crossed Cartoon Caesar's face. He ripped into the bowl feet and found the remote. You heard, Bunster. It's sharing time. Quickly, he turned on the remote guide. Select the data set Goose back to Bunsen's lab, said Laura. Olive gasped. That's got to be our home. Caesar selected the channel and the data set felt a familiar lunch. Chapter 9. Is it the fabric of reality? Is it Saturday yet? Caesar asked. The data set were on their way to Dr. Bunsen's lab. The kids looked at one another. They were back to normal and on the sidewalk in Newtonburg. Olive giggled. Stop it, Caesar. You're giving me deja vu. This actually looks like our neighborhood. Does this mean we're home? Gabe asked. Carefully, Caesar set his string cheese peanut butter granola bar on the ground. Out of nowhere, a dog leaped out and snatched the snack. Huzzah! Cried Caesar. I've never been so happy to lose food in my life. We need to find Dr. Bunsen, Laura said excitedly. Bunsen was still packing at the lab and waved to the kids. Ah, my young data set. I was beginning to wonder where you were. Our hero read now. Something wasn't right. The doctor wasn't making sense, and his mouth looked really funny when he talked. Dr. Bunsen? Olive asked. All of a sudden, Dr. Bunsen started running around the lab in reverse. Oh, said Gabe. Guys, something gone out of control. The kids watching as their world went from weird, to bad to really bad. Everything in the lab started glitching. The TV came to life and the Bunsen bandit reached out from the screen. Through the window, the kids watched the sun rise and set in rapid motion. What's going on? Rora asked. As they raced outside, the wind picked up, and leaves flew in weird zigzags. Even the clouds glitched, switching from puppy white to dark and stormy in seconds. Can you stop it? Olive asked desperately. Laura pressed the stop button on the remote control, but it didn't work. None of the buttons did. The remote control was dead. It's not working, Laura's face dropped. What do we do? Right then a horrible tearing noise echoed above them. What was that? Caesar asked. Actually, don't tell me. I don't want to know. The data set looked up and saw a giant gash in the sky. Then the narrator's voice boomed. The data set watched as the world around them was torn apart right before their very eyes. Oh no, Olive gasped. We broke the world. Gabe shook his head. Not the world. We broke the universe. Chapter 10 Universal Reboot. The wind picked up and the tear in the sky grew bigger. Everything around the data set had begun to glitch. Houses, trees, and even cows floated upward. It's my fault, Rora cried. I made everyone use the remote. We went along with it, said Gabe. But now we have to fix the universe. Have you checked the batteries? Asked Olive. Rora opened the back side of the remote. The batteries were glowing. I wouldn't mess with those, said Caesar. You know, just once, I'd love for Dr. Bunsen to include the dictions for his inventions. Laura started to put the back cover on the remote when she noticed some writing. Wait, there's something printed here. She held the remote up to her face, trying to make out the tiny print. A tornado of dirt and leaves swirled around them. Read faster, the hole is getting larger, cried Caesar. There are instructions on how to reboot the remote, Laura said. You can bring the universe back to normal. Suddenly, a big gust of wind came, lifting Gabe off the ground and into the air. He grabbed Caesar and yelled. How? Laura read the dictions aloud. Hold the power button for 5 seconds and the remote should reboot. Press it already, yelled Gabe. Laura held the power button down. 1, 2, she counted. The ground under their feet rumbled and cracked. The wind picked up and jerked Gabe right out of Caesar's hands. The data set tried to save the universe, but will it work? Boomed the narrator. The tear in the sky was growing. 3, 4, 5, Laura shouted. Then everything went black. It was as if the light of the universe had gone out. The next thing they knew, the data set were lying on Dr. Bunsen's floor. Is everyone okay? Laura asked, looking around at the messy lab. Through a window, the sun was shining brightly as birds chirped a sweet song. Dr. Bunsen emerged from the storage closet. Data set, what are you doing on the floor? Dr. Benson, you're alive and you're not a shark, Caesar said. A shark? The doctor scratched his head. You may need some rest, Caesar, but not on the left floor. It's bad for your back. Now, maybe you can help me. I'm looking for a TV remote. It's my new invention. Nope, interrupted the kid altogether. We haven't seen it. But I did see your invention to the International Science Council on your desk, said Gabe, winking at his friends. Yeah, can you tell us about it? Asked Caesar. We have all the time in the world, added Olive. Well, the life of a traveling scientist can get out of control sometimes, began Dr. Bunsen. Follow me. I am packing for a great trip. As Bunsen left the room, Laura shoved the remote deep into the conch cushions, where no one would ever find it. Thank you for the watching. Bye bye.